treat thus far, so I'm not sure what might be causing that, Linda. If you have any ideas, G0YLM MI6JX.
G0YLM. I don't know, Jason. It does seem to be getting slightly worse as well. I've no idea. What are you using for your gateway as a radio, Jason? Over.
G0YLM MI7JX. It's one Rick made for me. It's a Motorola, I think GM300 or something like that. Is what the gateway radio is. G0YLM MI7JJX.
Okay. You were saying it might be worth trying a reboot on everything, Jason, when you get over.
G0YLM MI7JJX. Yeah, when in doubt, reboot, I suppose. It's the audio is as crisp as ever on this end of you coming out of the gateway. It's perfect. So I wonder why it's going the other way. Well, I'll restart the Pi and all that stuff when I get back. This is why I was going to put the at the minute the thing's sitting in the it's basically sitting under a coffee table in my office, and it's a bit of a pain, but and for months now, well, for pretty much as long as I've had it, there's been no bother out of it at all. It's been a treat. I was actually thinking, hold on here, you know, the antenna for it's actually up in the roof space, and the coax going up to it's about it's about 20 or 30 foot. I thought, now obviously there's going to be a bit of loss there, and every one of those 5 watts is precious. So I was thinking of putting the actual radio of the gateway up in the roof space as well. So I hadn't been given any bother, and sorry, that would be a tractor. I'm back in the rural part of my walk now. I thought about putting it up there just to be able to shorten the coax, really, to squeeze every last ring of those 5 watts out. And the problem is I have no way of resetting it conveniently. It has to go up the ladder because I haven't got one of those handy roof space hatches yet. But maybe I'll belay that if it's starting to go funny on me. Who knows? G0YLM MI7JJX.
G0YLM. Well, you might just, again, Stuart's saying you might just be over deviating slightly. I don't know what you've got the handheld set to. It could be that. You putting it in the loft space would make an awful lot of sense. You could put a smart plug on it. If you turn these things off, they come back up. They usually come back up on their own. We've got a smart plug on our analog repeater now. So if something does happen and we're away, we can just shout into the ether and tell her who shall be obeyed just to turn it off and turn it on again. So it might be worth doing that. But yeah, shortening the coax would make an awful lot of sense. So I'm presuming your antenna's in the loft and not external as well, but you've the height as well. So if you could put it on a smart plug and stick it up there out of the way, and it's not in your way then either, is it? It's out of the way of the children and everything else. It makes perfect sense, Jason. G0YLM.
G0YLM MI7JJX. Yeah, I don't think it's going to be the handheld, to be honest. It's my FT5D, and nothing's changed on it since I did set it up in the first place. Unless something's broken in it, but I don't think so. It hasn't been raced nor rallied. It's in good nick, and the gain was set. I can't remember who it was helped me dial it in at the beginning, but it hasn't changed since. So I don't think it's that, to be honest. Hopefully just a reset will cure it, because this makes me sad, because pretty much everyone I speak to tells me it sounds great. But hey ho, there you go. Yes, the antenna is indeed in the roof space. The reason being, my house is 4 stories, and although I do have a ladder that would go up that high, it's a bit too squeaky bum for my liking. So we're putting that out there. So I thought, at the expense of a few roof slates, I would put it in the roof space to get maximum height rather than going for the outside option. And I think, to be honest, it was the right shout because the coverage I get with it's pretty fantastic. You know, I was in Newton Ards on Monday, which is a bit of a jaunt from here for sure, and I was still picking it up. Even picking it up if I'm on my way out to the work office on Bangor. There's a good bit once you get on the other side of Newton Ards, I'll even pick it up. And then if I'm heading towards Fast, there's actually a slight overlap between mine and GB3RK. So if I'm going to Belfast, I'm well covered for Northwest All-Star, because like I say, there's a point where we'll overlap and I can do the switcheroo then onto Rick's repeater. So yes, no, but at the minute the coax slipped out underneath one of the tiles and comes down the outside of the house and then into the office where it is. But I think maybe I will change it. And that's a good idea actually with a smart plug, because then I could turn it on again with my phone, I suppose. G0YLM MI7 JJX.
YLM, right, as you're getting nearer home, your audio is actually improving, so I wonder if it was just the distance that you were, but it's better than where you were 10 minutes ago, Jason. Yeah, well, it makes sense to put a smart plug on, and in the good old days, when you had a repeater or a node or anything, you had to have 6 people, 6, that could come in and shut things down if anything went wrong. And now we're asking a robot to turn it off and turn it on again, aren't we? How times change. But yeah, I mean, shortening that coax. It's a pity we're not nearer now, because I've got a coax here. What is it? Hyperflex 13 or something. About 8 foot of it. But if Ricky ever comes over this way and is passing, I'll get him to put it in his boot and bring it over to you. But the connectors are like a tenner each. Our analog repeater, the one I'm on at the moment, I had to think about that. No, I'm not on it at the moment. I'm still on the internet in the van. Switched back over to the repeater yet, but that's in the top of my wardrobe, would you believe, in a fitted wardrobe. And then the coax goes straight up to the chimney into a Diamond X300, and the coverage we got off that is absolutely fantastic. But we got the best feeder we could. Unfortunately, Ian Austin more than he needed. That's why we've got a length left over from 0YLM.
G0YLM MI7 JJX. Yes, the zipping connectors, you lament them. Of course, whenever I was sorting out the coax for the gateway, of course, you know, I cut it, put it out, brought it back in, and soldered it up, and then, of course, as an idiot, decided to screw the cover over it after I just soldered it, which was silly because, you know, I burnt my fingers, but I had a laugh about that, as had Rick, and then Rick quite rightly pointed out to me that you're sort of wasting your time soldering them on, to be honest, especially when the connectors are so dear. So I've learnt my lesson, I suppose. Morning. Learnt my lesson. I'll just wrap them together. It works just as well. But no, I have a few short bits because, well, I haven't in ages now, but I do like to get out and about with my little X6100. So I actually have a couple of short lengths of coax would be perfect because, like I say, the way it is in the roof space, like you would need like 2 or 3 foot maximum to go from the gateway up to the which is strung up, suspended from the top of the roof truss. So that's probably what I'll do, and then I'll get my big long wire because of coax. Because I'm thinking of changing my HF setup. At the minute, I've a long wire, but it snapped there on me, and I was thinking about it. And in fairness, it's only the first time it's snapped. It served me pretty well, in fairness, but I don't really like the look of it. Basically, purely for aesthetic reasons, I don't like the look of it, and I've semi-talked to the station manager into letting me put up a wee bit of a sort of mast at the bottom of the garden. So I might need my long length to run to the end of the garden and put a vertical up there is the plan, which, well, I suppose it's still a bit of an eyesore, but I think it'll be better. Whether the neighbours agree that having the wire running from the top of the house and on down for all to see is better than a pole up the back, I don't know. Time will tell, I suppose. C0YL, MI7JJX.
You should have seen, Chief Worried, you should have seen this house 20 years ago when we were running the DX cluster, because we had a lot of packet links on as well. I had a telemast with a huge TH3 Thunderbird tri-band beam on, with a rotary dipole that was 30 foot long on top of that, and a collinear on top of that. And that was middle of the back garden, which overhung the neighbours at both sides. And then on the side pole, we had a 4 metre folded dipole, two huge 77 beam, a 2 metre beam, and another collinear. And then a collinear on the chimney, and a small dipole up there as well. And our neighbours have all been brilliant, you know, no problem whatsoever. But, you know, I look at the old photographs from the back of our house looking backwards, and I'm thinking, good God. And I'm convinced Michelle at the back of us at the moment, all we've got now is a Cushcraft L6000 right at the bottom of the garden. And Michelle at the back, love her to pieces, they're selling, and they haven't managed to sell yet. And I'm thinking, I wonder if people walk around the back of the house and look out and see this great big R6000 on top of a 10-foot scaffolding pole and think, what the heck? Oh, plus the 3 collinears and the trap dipole, but it's not as bad as it used to be. G0YL.
JJX. I can see, the more I get into this and the more I look at it, the more I see how you can get absolutely carried away, for sure. But in any event, I am back at the Rancho here now, and it's funny, I don't know what the improvement was, because the last transmission I made, I was no closer than I was in the first place. I was sort of moving parallel to the house in a circle in that particular bit, so again, I'm not so sure, but I'm going to go in here and restart it anyway and see what that does for us. Hopefully it's success, but in any event, it's been nice talking to you again today on this lovely morning, and hopefully I'll speak to you again. Wish you 73s for now, Linda. I'll listen for your final. G0Y MI7 JJX.
Always a pleasure to see you, Jason, and have a good time with the family as well if I don't speak to you beforehand. But we'll be about for the rest of the week before we head back to Scotland again, probably in a storm. And your audio's not too bad at all, but there's no harm in doing a reboot every now and then, is there? And kicking a few spiders out as well. Take care, Jason. Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll speak again very soon. G0YL. Now clear but monitoring.
7's Linda, MI7 JJX, going clear.
Victor Kilo 5, Tango Radio Mike.
Kilo 5, Tango Radio Mike. Go ahead, Golf 0, Yankee Lima Mike.
Yeah, Golf 0, Yankee Lima Mike. Yeah, that's you there. Nice to hear there. I gather your name's Linda. Name is Rob, Romeo Oscar Bravo. Just coming through on through SVX Link onto the conference server. Just thought I'd say g'day. How you going? And how are things over there?
Hey Rob, well nice to hear you on Northwest All-Star, and I'm usually about, and yeah, things are good. Of course, we're got slightly darker evenings now. Our clocks have moved back to GMT, so it's now let me have a look, 8:45 in the morning, and the sun's up, and it looks as if we're going to have a reasonable day, Rob. So it's good to chat to you from G0 Wylam.
Yeah, very good, Linda. No worries at all. Yeah, okay. So you have done the change. We did the time change at the beginning of October over here in Australia. So we're on silly time now. It's just after 7 p.m. here. Actually, I'm just sitting here. I was sitting here listening to you guys chat while I was eating my tea. So there you go. Yeah, opposite end of the day there. Over.
G0 Wylam. Yes, it's very confusing with these clocks. I'm of the opinion, why can't they just leave them where they are? Leave us on GMT. I'd be quite happy on that. It wouldn't bother me at all. I mean, to be honest, half the clocks in the house I never bother with nowadays. I just leave them where they are. I just can't be bothered putting backwards, forwards. And well, they'll be right at least 6 months in the year, which probably makes sense. G0 Wylam.
Yeah, Roger. I'm much the same. You know, like as I said, we've been on silly time since beginning of October, and I think the clock in the car is still on normal time. It makes it easier for me to work out your time too when you're on GMT. You know, because I've got a clock set up here. You know, how everything's but on GMT time, so it makes it easier. And I've got a few computers that are set up on GMT. The computer that's actually doing this linking is on GMT, so I just have a look at what time it says there and said, yep, that's the time over in the UK. It's just when you go onto that silly time, I've got to remember to add the 1 hour. Anyway, no worries there, Linda. I'll leave you with it. I guess you want to get out of there, but nice to make contact with you there. Over.
It's nice to catch up with you as well, Rob, and don't be a stranger on this network. You know, it's quite a busy little network, and there's a lot of really nice people on here. You'll soon get to know them. They're more of a family than anything else. If we don't hear from somebody for a few days, you know, they'll email somebody else to check up on folk, and that's what it's all about. Yeah, I'm going to go for cappuccino now. Not a posh one. It's just one of those powdered ones. We've had a bit of a strange 12 hours. Our internet went off, and my other half Ian's been battling with it since about 6 o'clock this morning. Well, he's got it working on a temporary router at the moment, so he's only just gone down and grabbed himself some breakfast. But I can now. I've been using the internet in our motorhome that's parked in the front, but I'm going to swap back to the repeater now and use some proper RF. Rob, a real pleasure. Enjoy the rest of your day. And yes, we're all confused about time change. It's as if they think they can magically get another hour of daylight from somewhere, you know. You can't. We just get the same amount of daylight. It's just shifting backwards or forwards. Take care, Rob. All the best. G0 Wylam.
Yeah, you did right there. Yeah. Whereabouts are you? In the UK too, by the way. Just a curiosity. I'm about 200 kilometres from the city of Adelaide, heading towards the eastern coast, but a long way from the east coast. I'm on the eastern side of the state of South Australia. There, over.
G0 Wylam. Yes, I can picture where you are, Rob. We're in a little place called Morecambe. You may have heard of the comedians Morecambe and Wise, which were quite famous back in the day. And that's Eric Morecambe's hometown. It's just below our Lake District. If you go towards the north of England, you'll see where the Lake District is, and you'll find a place called Morecambe Bay. And this is our hometown, but we spend an awful lot of time away in our motorhome now. This week I'll be back up to Scotland and signing Golf Mike Zero, Yankee Mike, as I cross the border. But I never know where I am. I wake up some mornings and I think, where the hell am I? Situation normal, G0YLM.
Yeah, that, no worries at all. I'd love to do that myself, just operate mobile, in a motorhome, sell the house and just live in a motorhome somewhere, just, wherever I want to go. And Australia's a big country. All right, no worries, 73, catch you later, and thanks for the chat, over.
Yeah, well, Rob, if ever you manage to do it, I recommend it's good to have a house to come back to, but a friend of ours lives full-time in his camper van, which is slightly smaller than ours, and he's our age, he's older than me, he's in his late 60s, and he just went into Europe for the past 4 or 5 weeks, and he's absolutely living the dream. He just goes where he wants, when he wants to, and he's got the biggest smile on his face you've ever seen. Cheers, Rob, all the best. Hope we talk again very soon, perhaps from Scotland next week. G0YLM, take care.
Mike 3 Alpha Romeo Foxtrot, standing by and listening.
Yeah, 73's Linda, catch you later.
Rob.
Mike 3 Alpha Romeo Foxtrot, standing by and listening.
Yeah, Mike 3 India Alpha Foxtrot, I think it was, Victor Kilo 5 Tango Radio Mike. Good morning to you.
Good morning, sorry. Whereabouts are you, my friend? Back to you, over.
Roger, I'm in Australia. I'm in the state of South Australia, about 200 kilometres north-east of this Adelaide, over.
Roger. Can't believe I've got Australia. Back to you. You've got Ken, person Ken, my angles M3, Mike 3 Alpha Romeo Foxtrot, and I'm based in the northwest on the northwest coast of England at around 1,000 foot up, and I'm running on a Anytone radio with a glass fibre external antenna. Back to you, over.
Yeah, roger that. No worries at all. Well, I'm actually just on a little Yaesu handheld, a little FT2D, one of those little digital ones. The repeater is actually located, that I'm coming through, is actually located here at home. I run on the local SysOp of it. So, no worries at all. Very nice to hear you coming through nice and clear. No problems at all. It's certainly, like you're here locally there, over.
Yep, you're giving me a 5-5, coming nice and clear. I won't ask what the weather's like over there, down under. Back to you.
Yeah, we had a fairly fine day here today. It's starting to warm up. Like we're starting to get into the warmer weather. I think it was 21, I think today, something like that. Actually, no, it might have even been a little bit warmer than that. Yeah, finally, and a light breeze. So a beautiful day here, over.
Heard you on that, my friend. We've got the sun up here, but it's nowhere near that temperature. It's, as I say, I haven't got the thermometer. I can't see the temperature, but it's getting a bit. It's a little bit on the chilly side. I live on a farm just on the northwest coast of Lancashire, and I'm at an altitude of about 1,000 foot, and I've got, as I say, I've got this external aerial that I've just fitted. Can you give me a call sign, please?
Yeah, okay. My call sign is Victor Kilo number 5, Tango Radio Mike. VK5 Radio Mad, and that pretty well describes me, over.
Good, yes, thank you very much for that conversation. I'll let you go because, as I say, I'm going to have some breakfast. I've just taken the dog out, so I'm going to have some breakfast. And you have a very nice day, and all the best to everybody down there in Australia. Back to you.
Yeah, no worries there. Very good. You have a lovely day too. It's Monday evening here. In fact, I'm just eating my evening meal here. So we're a few hours ahead of you, 10 to be exact. All right, no worries. Leave you with it, 73s.
Same for you, the 73s. Thank you, and all the best.
7 Victor Delta X-ray, monitoring Northwest All-Star Group, standing by. Good morning all.
Victor Delta X-ray. Good morning, this is M7GKV. Back over to you.
Yeah, Mike 7 GKV, Mike 7 Victor Delta X. Good morning, Georgina. Good to hear you this morning. I hope everyone's alright with you there. And yeah, good signal there from you. So everyone's fine here. Just had my breakfast switched on there, go ahead.
My breakfast is just cooling down, Ian. I was with some chicken and black pudding. It does me. I'm operating mobile at the moment. Morning. Ian, how was your day been? And how was your day?
Mike 7 Victor Delta X, you're dropping in and out, Georgina. I take it you're walking about there, but you're losing all. I didn't get very much of that at all.
Yeah, roger that. I've just power up again. Yeah, no, I said it. I've got my breakfast in the oven. It's just cooling down at the moment. I've just got my coat on because it's a bit nippy outside. But yes, what I asked is, how about you anyway? What are you having for breakfast and how was your day going yesterday? This morning I'm doing a bit of a strange one, to be honest. I'm having chicken and black puddings. But do you know what? They're healthy for me. And then black puddings really, really do make my hair grow, you know. I've got my house growing very quick. I've got all my hair on my head growing very quick because I eat about 2 or 3 black puddings every morning. Back over to you, M7VDX from GKV.
Yeah, Mike 7 Victor Delta X-ray return. I must bear that in mind. I might rub a few black puddings on the top of my head. Oh dear, yeah. Yeah, I'm fine. I went to the nurse to get my leg dressed yesterday, expecting it to be almost healed or healed. And it was the opposite. The new blisters had come up and I had blisters on my left leg where I didn't have any before it as well. So not good. They dressed it all again. I have to go back on Monday to get the dress. They got me on antibiotics, which is this morning, so that usually clears it up pretty quick there. But yeah, it's just a recurring thing there. The nurse called the doctor in. Hang on. The nurse called the doctor in to have a look, and she put me on the antibiotics, and she also gave me a second water pill to take, so I'm taking 2 different types of water together, and hopefully that will stop the water building up in the first place. We shall see. I'm a bit sceptical, but anyway, we'll give it a go. So apart from that, we're alright. Yeah, I usually have porridge for breakfast, but I had shreddies, bite-sized shredded wheat this morning for a change there. Go ahead.
Never had bite-sized shreddies. You know what, shreddies, they were just never sort of anything that was bought for me when I was I used to have chocolate squares when I was a child. That was the only cereal I would eat, chocolate squares. only because there was chocolate in the Ian. Yeah, me. As I said, I've never been a big fan of toast cereal and stuff like that. I don't know. It all just tasted like soggy cardboard to me. I'm going, sugary, soggy cardboard is that, you know, the sort of flavour I get from it. Don't know if it's just me. I don't know, but it just is what it is. So I don't eat such things. And it's the same with cakes and stuff like that. You know, I'm not really a cake person. I like this stuff. I suppose it's just one of those. I've heard people say, you know, they're usually one or the other. You're usually really into your savouries, or you're very much into your sweet stuff. I think maybe because I'm not into my sweet stuff very much, that I don't have, you know, I'm not into cereal and carbohydrates, aren't they? Whereas I'm more of a savoury person. Oh, I like a savoury breakfast. Oh, yes, sausages and bacon and that puddings and things like that, Ian, you know. Yeah, I'm just set out in the back garden anyway. Weather report for 6 miles out from Stafford in the Midlands over in Nosal is well, it's grey. It's grey. It's trying to drizzle a little bit, but yeah, aside from cold, wet, grey, temperature says 6 degrees on the thermometer, so that's how it's going over here. Back over to you, M7VDX from M7GKV.
Yeah, Mike 7 Victor Delta X-ray returning. Yeah, no problem, Georgina. Yeah, well, it's much the same here. I think we're into winter, basically, and that's it. I was keeping up to date with that Category 5 hurricane that hit Jamaica. Laid waste to the place, and now it's hitting Cuba. It's a Category 3 now, so not quite as bad, but Cuba gets hit quite regularly as well. So they'll be picking up the pieces this morning. I heard someone say that it'll be heading in our direction as probably a tropical depression or a disturbance of some kind. But next week we'll probably get the tail end of it. Another named storm coming our way there. Go ahead.
Oh, don't say that, Ian. I've just got my gazebo top up to sit under in my back garden. Might miss us, I don't know. To be fair, where we're located, we've got hills, a few hills around us which do offer a protection. But yeah, the last lot of high winds we had, I took the sides off the gazebo, Ian, because they were, you know, the wind was hitting the gazebo song. That's all right if you've not got any sides on it, because as you know, the wind will just pass through beneath, and that's that. It's one of them things. But because the sides were on it, it was hitting the sides, and yeah, obviously they were catching the wind, and it was causing issues. So I took them off and just left the roof on, because as they say, sometimes less is more, isn't it? It really, really is. I had a nice day yesterday anyway myself. I made a new friend in the pet shop. One of the girls that works there, she's at my age, and she's you know, very, very, very pleasant to speak to. I said, oh right, well we should go out sometime for a drink, or something like that around the area, because speaking to local people thing. She's happily married anyway, like myself. She's not got any kids. So, yeah, I was like, oh, wonderful, female friend, another one. There you go. Aside from that, yeah, it's not really much of a report. I'm just sitting in the garden at the moment. I'm going to have my breakfast now. I'm going to get on with my a bit of work this morning in the living room for probably 1 or 2 hours or so, and intersperse, and then get on with a bit of housework, and then back onto the work again. And Max is doing well for the dog. So the cat and the rat, like usual. I've let the rat out today, actually. He's decided today is the day. He's finally in the mood to come out of his cage, because he was pushing on the cage door, trying to get it open. So I've took his locks off, and I've let him out, because he likes to come out now and again just to get a break from his cage, you know, and have a run around and explore and do other things. And then he decides he's had enough, and he puts himself way back in his cage again, and that's it. I'd lock the door, and he usually doesn't want to come out again for another week to a fortnight, you know. That's it, then novel's worn off. It's been had a look round. Besides, there's nothing much. I had a bit of an explore and got in the backs of my furniture and chewed the blink. He gets the, they got the, what's it called now? The foam. He gets the foam out of the back of the chairs. He's always destructive with the back of my chairs and that. Luckily, it's furniture that I didn't buy, I just got given it, so I'm not too fussed. Oh, I best pass it back to you, Ian. It's about to time out.
Time out.
Yeah, Roger. Mike 7 Victor Delta. I think you timed out there, George. Anyway, Roger, on the rats. Well, that's what rats do, isn't it? They chew things. Dogs are pretty good at that as well. Having said that, but anyway, all good there. Well, it's got a little bit of freedom there. Does what it wants to do. It's good that it puts itself back in its cage. They don't normally do that. Gerbils and hamsters and that, mice and things. You usually got to catch them, put them back in, Yes, well trained rat there, go ahead.
Yes, he is, isn't he, considering he's tame and not domesticated. He's extremely well behaved, to be honest with you. In my lifetime, I've had gerbils, I've had hamsters, I've had rats. I've never had mice, though. Yes, I did. I had some field mice when I was a children. I don't really remember much about those, to be honest. I never saw them. I had them in, they fell out of the hay at the farm, and I put them in a heap, and the mother never came back for them, and one of them had already popped its clogs. There were 4 originally, but the other took home in a box, and I gave them some milk, and put them in, gave them they were already started on solids, thank God, so I just put them in the, this glass aquarium thing that I had, and I just put some shavings in the bottom, and put a load of hay in, and I put them in there, and I'll be honest, I hardly saw them the whole time I had them, because they were so secretive. I ended up letting them go in the end, because I had them for a few weeks, and then I just let them go. But yeah, rats, I'll be honest, they've been the least destructive of all rodents that I've ever had, apart from guinea pigs. They don't really chew. I mean, I've had over 100 of them in my lifetime. When I was youngest to breed them, as you know, Ian, I've never had them chew. I used to give them cardboard tubes and things like that. They do not chew. They honestly don't chew. The only time that they tend to chew is their bedding. The bedding that they like to go after. They'll chew holes in pillowcases. They'll chew foam, anything that's soft. They'll chew it because they're trying to make a nest out of it. And hammocks they'll chew. But if you give them like bits of wood or anything like that, they tend to just completely ignore it, to be honest. They grind their teeth together to keep them short. So, they've just got no interest in things like that. And it's like with cables and things. I've never had an issue with rats with cables or any. There's 2 animals that I can definitely say are a major issue with cables, and the first one's rabbits, and the second one is chinchillas. Both of those, they're both fibrivores, they're not true rodents. They eat a lot of grass and hay. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but yeah, I've had rabbits when I was younger. Let me tell you, at one point the rabbit had been in the house, and I went to do the hoovering when I was a child. And I remember getting a lovely 2 kilowatt voltage shock from the hoover, because the rabbit had chewed through the cable to the hoover, the mains cable, and I plugged it into the mains, didn't I? And as the way our hoover works, hold on, take a quick bit.
GB7SJ, time out.
And the way the hoover worked, my mother used to keep the cable wrapped around the handle to the hoover, so when you touched the handle you were touching the cable, and I didn't realise that the rabbit had chewed the rubber off of the part of the cable in one place, and I touched the live wire. I just remember being stood completely frozen, and I could not move for a moment before I managed to kick the Hoover away from myself. Yeah, it was not. Thankfully, it's an experience I've always avoided since, and I always make sure to double check any cables since then, especially if there's ever been rabbits about. I know somebody had a similar situation with chinchilla. They got down the back of the television, did a similar thing to their wires, and a similar thing happened to them. Yeah, rabbits and chinchillas, very destructive towards cables. It's one of the reasons I won't have them these days, because they're very high maintenance. Oh, God. Back over to you, M7VDX from M7GKV.
Yeah, Mike 7 Victor Delta Extra returning. Yeah, I've had a few 240 volt shocks myself over the years, but yeah, it's not pleasant. Pardon me. Yeah, I had gerbils myself. I got two gerbils from the pet shop. They assured me they were both female. And I have filled a fish tank with sand, and I just sprinkled some straw on the top, and of course they do what gerbils do. They started tunneling into the sand, and then took down all the straw and made a nest somewhere inside, and that was fine until one day I happened to glance at the tank, and there were 7 of them. It turned out there was a male and a female. They'd given me not 2 females, so there you go. So he got 6 babies. He returned to the pet shop, and I got some free gerbil food from him. I think he did it on purpose. There, back to you.
Possibly. It's a bit awkward with gerbils as well, because they're monogamous, you know. I had gerbils as well when I was a kid, and I had quite a few of them, Ian. And, you know, at one point I had 2 brothers in with a female. And, yeah, the almond, she was breeding with one brother. And when that brother popped his plugs, she would not breed with the other mouse that I had. She just wouldn't do it. So that was that. I ended up with male and female attacked together, but they wouldn't breed together. It was quite interesting, really. Didn't realise that they were, you know, I'd heard they were sort of monogamous, but I didn't realise that, you know, when one of them died, that the other one often won't pick a new partner, apparently. They'll just stay on their own. But, you know, but she had company. She had the other brother in with her, so she was all right. But I did have a few litters off of those when I was a child. So rats, people, you know, when they're getting bruised and things, I don't really worry too much. The only thing that, you know, with rats and stuff you have to think about, as I say, is stuff like insulation. They'll go more after your insulation and your brickwork. They like chewing through brickwork as well, plasterboard, wood and things like that. And they do that to make their sort of their tunnels, don't they, through walls and things. That's what you've got to watch out for. But they tend to leave cables alone. They can't be bothered with them, thank God. Back over to you, M7VDX from M7GKV.
Yeah, Mike 7 Victor Delta Extra returning. Well, yeah, I've had mice and gerbils, and I've never had a rat, I have to say. And I've never had a chinchilla. And chinchillas I've had guinea pigs and hamsters over the years as well, mostly when we were kids, but I've never had a chinchilla. I always thought they were cute looking things, and a bit like one of those things off of Star Trek, the ball of fluff, what do they call them things? A weeble or something, I can't remember, there's a name for them. You're a Star Trekkie, you should remember that. Tribble. I always thought they looked a bit like a tribble. But anyway, but yeah, I never ever had a chinchilla. Did they not used to make fur coats and things out of chinchillas because the quality of their fur or something. I can't remember, but yeah, it sort of rings a bell. But yeah, interesting. Yeah, we've had cats and dogs. We even had a goat at one time, a billy goat. Hang on. Yeah, this goat. What we did was we cut the back end of a Ford Escort van off and put it against the wall, and that was the goat's. And the back doors used to be open in the back of this van, and the goat lived inside. And it was my brother and my job to clean it out every now and again. And what we used to do was we used to muck it out basically, put fresh straw and stuff in, and then we would grab the goat by the beard. If you try grabbing it by the horns, it just throw you up in the air. So we grabbed it by the beard, but it seemed to paralyse it, and we hosed it down. It didn't like that one little bit. And then we would run for it once we let it go there. Go ahead.
Yes, livestock are always fun. Yeah, I've had my own fun with past with goats and cows and things that I used to work with. They're lovely animals, but they can be a bit dangerous. You know, that's the only thing with them, isn't it? Oh goodness, it's I'm indoors now anyway, Ian. I don't know how well you're receiving me, because obviously I'm not using the Node. Kev's taking it away. He's going to have a fiddle with it and sort the mic gain that out and stuff for it, and you know, get it set up with this new hotspot I'm running in the living room. So I'm just hitting the gateway at the moment across the village, my handheld. So I'm running it on high power. I've had to come back inside because it's 6 degrees out. It's a bit too cold for me to be sitting out there. So I've just come indoors, and the rat's happy. He sat in the cat's bed. He sat on the cat tree. We've got a cat tree in front of the window, and he sort of sat in the bed area of that. Yeah, I don't know where I'll be getting it back at the moment. I think Kev's, you know, he's busy with work, so I'll expect it when I see it, sort of thing. Back over to you, M7VDX from M7GKV.
Victor Delta X-ray. Well, your signal's holding up fine at the moment there, Georgina. Yeah, well, I hope you get nodes and your hotspot and stuff sorted out. But yeah, you're doing all right at the moment on the radio link you're on there. But anyway, all right. Well, I'll let you go and get your breakfast and stuff, and I've got my tablets to take, and I've got a nice mug of coffee there ready for supping. So I'll get into that, and we'll catch up with you later. Thanks for coming back to me, and have a great day, and we'll catch up with you later, Roger.
Yeah, sure thing, roger that. I'll probably be listening for a bit, as I'll end up turning the radio off at some point or another, probably to concentrate on what I'm doing as I do. But yeah, have a lovely day, Ian, and everybody else who's listening as well. Take care now, take care. This is M7GKV 673s and going clear.
M7GKV, Victor Delta X-ray. 73 there, Georgina, great talking to you. And yes, we covered the whole menagerie this morning. 73, Mike 7 Victor Delta X-ray clear, and monitoring Northwest All-Star Group, standing by.
WTG01.
Mike 7 Victor Delta X-ray. I haven't heard VUT a couple of days, Linda.
He's not been so well, Ian. And you won't have heard him from yesterday because our internet went off, so he could access the repeater, but it wasn't linked into the network. So I was just shouting him to let him know that we managed to get everything working on a temporary router because the router's gone faulty. G01.
Victor Delta turning. Yeah, okay, no problem. I didn't know he wasn't well. I know his XYL doesn't keep very well, but well, I hope he bounces back. Maybe we'll hear him later on. Yeah, Roger on that. How are you this morning? Are you still at home or are you off on your travels again?
G01, yeah, home for a few days, Ian. Just a few things to sort before we go back to Melrose in Scotland for a week, and then we're home for winter. Just making the most of the last of the weather before we get some really dark and stormy days. Although we may get the tail end of this hurricane yet, you never know. G01.
Give us a shout a bit later.
Victor Delta X-ray returning. Probably be the third named storm of the season next week sometime. So yeah, keep an eye on that one. It's hitting Cuba at the moment. Apparently it's laid waste to where the island it was on, and now it's hitting Cuba, and it's doing the same to Cuba. It's category 3 at the moment, they say. So, oh dear. Anyway, all good there, but you know, you feel sorry for these poor people. They don't have very strong homes to start with, but living in Hurricane Alley, I would have thought all the homes would be built out of concrete, reinforced concrete. I give them a better chance there. Anyway, all right, Linda, I won't hold it. I heard you calling VUT, but like I say, I hadn't heard them for a couple of days. I haven't heard Martin or Ian for over a week now, so I don't know what's going on with them. I know Martin's got his problems, and Ian's rebuilding his shack, so they've been conspicuous by their absence. Anyway, I'll go back to standby. I'll catch up with you later, Roger.
Yeah, no problem, Ian. Well, the network's been busy enough, which is great. But yeah, you've just summed it all up, really. Everybody's busy at the moment. We keep having a Bangladesh station trying to connect in, bringing loads of nodes in, and of course it automatically gets booted. So that just caused a little bit of an issue over your transmission, but I got most of it in. Right, I've just got to text my best friend back, but I'll be around today. Said she's having a good cough. And we'll be on a little later. Take care for now, Ian. G01.
Yeah, Roger, Linda. I spoke to Bangladesh Station last week on here. Quite good. He's a new amateur and he speaks good English, and he's an electronics engineer. Built his own node and all that, which he takes from home to work with him. I don't know if it's the same one or not, but maybe he doesn't know about the rule about bringing other nodes in with him or connecting to two networks at once. If I speak to him again, I'll I'll tell him about that. Alright, I'll catch up with you later, 73.
Yeah, okay. It was Sierra 21 MAX. Does that ring any bells?
Sierra 21 does. I'm not sure of. It might have been him. I have to commit these things to memory. But Sierra 21 certainly. But yeah, if he comes on again, I'll tell him about not bring other networks or nodes in with him. Just come in on his own, and it'll be all right. But yeah, I'll bear that in mind, Linda.
Yeah, no problem. And it may not be the same station, of course, but as long as people disconnect from where they're connected to before they connect to us, if that makes sense, it'll all work. They can bring in up about 6 nodes, but any more than that, then the system will automatically go and chuck them out. It just protects NWAG from things like Freestar. So there you go, Ian. I'll catch you in a bit. G0YM.
Yeah, 73s to you and Ian, and have a great day. We'll catch you later. 73 Mike 7 Victor Delta X-ray clear and monitoring.
Listening northwest also.
Yeah, the ZL station calling, I don't know whether that shoots area or not, but you're breaking up. Try again.
Oh no, giving me trouble again, Ian. Yeah, what? I just thought I'd see who was around.
Good morning, Terry. Yes, as you. Mike 7 Victor Delta X-ray. Yeah, no problem. Good to hear you there this evening and your time. How's things going? Your last over was better. First over, you were breaking up. Try again.
Well, I am upside down, so I'm allowed to make funny noises. Yeah, and no, we're good. We're pretty good over here. We just had a yummy tea and just get things back in order from the big puff that we had. But our life is pretty good, actually. Good. It's not, well, I've just had a lovely hot swim because the water wasn't funny noises in the cylinder. I thought, oh, can't have that. That might just go pop. So I went and emptied some of it, and it was just, yeah, no, it's nice. It's good. So tomorrow we'll be preparing for another day in the office, and maybe tomorrow afternoon or Friday morning or maybe late Friday afternoon, I'm not sure, we'll head for the big smoke, cause some trouble and leave so they don't know that we've been there. M Victor Delta X-ray ZL4CEL. Good morning.
Mike 7 Victor Delta X-ray returning. Okay, Derek. Yeah, good stuff there, and certainly your signal's much better now, so your internet's okay. Yeah, I heard you call much earlier, but I couldn't come back to you. I was still in silent mode as the XY was in bed, so that was that. So, but yeah, we're all right. Went to the nurse yesterday to get my leg dressed. I was hoping it was all going to be healed, but it was actually worse. They've got me on antibiotics now to try and clear it up. So hopefully it will. It usually does when they put me on the antibiotics. It usually heals up pretty quick. So hopefully that'll be the case this time again. They've also changed my water tablets. They've got me on lots of water tablets, different types now together. Hoping to get a water retention problem down that's causing the blisters. So finally, hopefully, that'll work. So we'll see. Nothing on the agenda today, Terry. No, quiet in the Western Front. Be listening to the TV. Midday Prime Minister's Questions is on the Parliament channel, which I listen to every week. It's usually quite hilarious with them firing bazookas at each other there. Go ahead.
Kindergarten, or a new version of kindergarten anyway. That's what our lot are like. Man, if we behaved like that in school, we'd got the bash. We'd got the cane or something. We were allowed to do that back then. No, I got 100 lines for being a lippy sod, but you know, what's new? I mean, I told the rector of this wasn't going to do what he told me. He said, I'll see you in my office on Monday with 500, I must pull my socks up. I said, how can I write that 500 times? He said, on separate bits of paper. I said, you want 500 bits of paper? He said, be careful, it might be 1,000 in 7BDX ZL4CEL.
Yeah, like 7 Victor Delta, actually. Remember that well, getting lines at school. Yeah. You could just draw 100 straight lines with a ruler, and there you go, that's 100 lines. Back to you.
Well, there's one problem, Ian. I can't draw straight. I got issues going on over here, and I'm not quite sure. That's like my driver's license. I don't understand. Well, give me one. I reckon it's discrimination. Oh, what's that word? Discrimination. That one. Yeah, that one, Ed. Thank you. Discrimination. Yeah, I reckon it's rude. We got stopped at a checkpoint, and I said, can I have a turn? They said, we don't want you. Oh, what? Boring. I hadn't been drinking, but that's beside the point. I wanted to have a turn to blow in the bag, but no, I didn't even get that. Oh, well, never mind. I even tried to get arrested. That didn't work. Damn. Not doing too well. Well, not lately anyway. It was a couple of years ago. And, yep, that was back then when, well, you could get away with a bit more than what you can now. Anyway, not that I was wild, but, I just pushed the boundaries a little here and there, just to see what would happen. The kids used to hate me at school because I had to walk to the bus 20 minutes early, so I mean at 10 past. I got to leave the classroom, and I found out, probably, I don't know, 7 or 8 years later, I was talking to one of the ladies at the bank, and she said, we used to hate you. I said, why? She said, because you got 20 minutes extra off school than we did, and we wanted to come with you. I said, you should have just sneaked out of the class back to you.
Yeah, Mike 7 Victor Delta, actually. Yeah, Roger on that. Yeah, that's children's mentality, right enough, but yeah, you'd have thought they would have assigned one of the other pupils in the class to sort of go with you at the regular but there you go. It's Oh dear. Yeah. Well, I used to get beat up at school because I was the English kid. When I went from England to Scotland when I was 4 and I started school, I had an English accent, and that was enough to make me different. And I got beat up because I was English. So I acquired the Scottish accent pretty quick there. But it doesn't take much. They don't need much of an excuse. You there, go ahead.
I didn't care whether they hated me. I just got the best seat in the bus, going there and coming home. It was pretty good. And I was about to open the bus doors when we stopped. Oh, I must have been special. Oh dear. Oh, what else did I do? Oh, one day I must go and see if the escalators in the centre of the city are still the same, because we nearly got sent home from a school trip for riding on the rails in one of them. That's pretty cool. What are you laughing for? Yeah, we did. We did. If it hadn't have been for the fact that it was 4 o'clock in the afternoon, we might have got a bus ride home. But oh well, never mind. Yeah, my life was fun, and it hasn't changed much. Just got taller and sillier. Oh well, there you are. Good on me. Welcome to my world, sir. What else? What other crazy things did we do? Oh, plenty. Yeah, well. There you go. Well, they always used to think I was asleep in the class, so they'd poke me, and one day I pretended I was and waited till they were standing there and leapt off my chair. Wow, never seen people scatter so fast. Oh well, these things happen. School was fun, life was fun, and, don't ever be said it was boring. M7VDX with L4CEL.
Mike Simbrick, the Delta X-ray returning. Sorry, I've got a bit of a fog in my throat at the moment. Yeah, well, you're doing all the things a normal boy would do there, basically. All the stuff you described is the stupid stuff that I did when I was young, chasing after lorries and holding on to the back of lorries to get across town quick. Buses were the same way. The buses with the open door at the back and the pole, and we used to run after the buses and grab the pole, and then the bus conductor would shout at us to drop off, and the buses could never go that fast in the first place. They were all clapped out 1940s type buses that they used during the Second World War. They hadn't upgraded to new type buses by then. I'm talking about the late 50s, early 60s. But they just kept them going. Anyway, stuff like that. Use of a white truck we called the Whitey, and it was belonged to local authority, and that's the one we used to chase after and hold on to the back of, and get a lift across town. A lot quicker than walking. Anyway, all good there, Terry. I'm going to go and I'll let you go on there. I'm halfway through a cup of coffee here, and I need to go to the little boy's room as well. So we'll catch up with you a bit later, Roger. I don't know what happened there. You still with us, Terry?
I pushed the wrong button, Ian. Yeah, I'll tell you next time I'm talking to you. I'll tell you about the CF Bedford van that we had to push along the road to get to the airport. That's the story. 73, take care. Time for a cup of tea and then maybe shut the lid.
Yeah, Roger, Terry. Have a good night there. Anyway, I'll speak to you in the morning, your time, and regards to Fred there in the background, and yeah, we'll speak to you tomorrow. Hopefully that hurricane will fizzle out by that time. I've been keeping an eye on that. It's hitting Cuba as we speak, laying waste to Cuba. Unbelievable. Okay, catch you later, 73 for now. Mike 7 Victor Delta X-ray clear.
Don't forget to do the dishes. 73, bye-bye.
Yeah, 73.
Actually, I've got a good idea, Ian. Go and shift the cupboards around and tell Rosemary that you've moved in.
Yeah, roger. That's frying pan territory.
I'm not encouraging fry pan. No, I wouldn't do that. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
73.